Well, good morning, everybody. Very happy to be here today to speak to you guys about Seneca Resource and our use of FME. Um, just a show of hands, real quick. How many people use FME right now in your day to day? You don't count, Garrett. So not too many. I saw like 3 hands here. So real quickly, Seneca Resources, we're the exploration and production segment of National Fuel Gas. We are all in Pennsylvania right now. We sold off our California assets recently, and we developed the Marcellus and Utica shale gas in Pennsylvania. So, as with any oil and gas company, you have data and you have data and you have more data. And everybody in your company has their own data. They want other people's data to come in and mix with their data so they can make better decisions, so they can see, future things where they want to go. Geology wants to know, what's underground here, where are our roads, where are previous construction we've done. EHS needs to know where all the pad centroids are, where the roads are, so they can do their 911 stuff. So everybody always is requesting, data from different departments. And of course, all the departments use different software. They all have their own way of doing things. And a lot of times it's not as simple as just saying, okay, here you go, pull it into your software and you're good to go. You'll have incompatibility issues. You'll have, just a whole general, lots of people in EHS, they don't know anything about taking data and loading it into their software that they use. Or the people in geology know nothing about some of the GIS stuff that we have. So it's really, really important that, you develop some automated workflows. Otherwise, your employees will just be wasting time. They won't be able to make good decisions. So we have a list, like some of the software we use is all listed up there from some of our different departments. We have, spatial data, tabular data, imagery data. You have documents that people may want to look at and have in their, have available to them as links or just in their database. So all of this leads to needing to be able to transfer your data around. So ETL, Garrett had mentioned it, extract, transform, load. It's definition basically of taking data from a bunch of different data sources, transforming it, and then loading it into a data warehouse where it's available to everybody. At Seneca, our previous ETL methods, we typically were using Model Builder and Python to move data around and connect it, which it worked, most of the time. But a lot of the methods for automating the Python script rather than just having someone have to start it manually were just like Task Scheduler or SQL Server Agent. And with these two software products here, the notifications on them were either non-existent or just really bare minimum that were not really useful. Oftentimes, if a script didn't run properly the night before for whatever reason, nobody would know until someone went to load the data and it was a blank screen that popped up. And then you'd have to scramble to try to run that process, and it would take some time. And it just it got to the point where you'd go in, especially on Wednesdays at our office. Tuesday is Microsoft Patch Day, so Wednesday mornings are notoriously awful when you walk into the office because half the time your servers don't reboot properly. So any processes that ran on Tuesday nights, typically, you knew you were going to have to run them again probably. So we decided that we had to come up with a better way to do this. So in 2017, we looked at FME and decided we were going to give it a shot. We had a relationship with a company called Logic Solutions in Houston, where our main corporate office is. And Logic is a company that does a lot of FME work for companies. So we hired them to help us convert that model from Model Builder into our first FME process that we would have. So when we looked at FME, we decided on it because of all of the data integration. They had so many different connectors. You could pull data from almost anywhere and put it back anywhere. You can go two directions, everything. And they had fantastic notification setups. If you set up your own FME server portion, you would get actual details. You could get a direct link to the log files of what happened if something didn't work. And you would have an email that warned you when the process was supposed to run, whether it was successful or whether it failed. It was relatively easy to set up and to maintain and to use and to learn. We had a lot of help from Logic at the start. They helped us set up the FME server initially. Now we maintain all of this ourselves. And it was really cost effective. Our initial outlay for the software was about $17,000. And we have an annual maintenance fee of about, I think, $4,200. So it's really not that expensive when you look at, like an Esri EA. They get pretty expensive. A Microsoft licensing agreement, it's relatively inexpensive. So when we started, we spun up a server, an FME server, and that's where our FME server software and our FME workbench software resided. We decided that there would be myself and the other database administrator in the company. We would be the folks that would use this software, manage it, just so we didn't have 20 different people trying it and things not working. It would become more of helping them, fixing things. So we decided that we would limit the access to it. So that's sort of our on-premise setup for it. I'm also using the old terms for the FME software. This year, with their 2023 update, they've changed the names from FME Server to FME Flow, I believe, and FME Workbench became FME, I don't even remember what it is. There's Flow and I can't remember. But anyways, I'm using the old terms because that's what I'm used to. So we set up a server and we manage that server internally. We're not using their online service. So we went from this, where you would run that, cross your fingers and hope that it would work, to something where, like this, where you can see that's an email up in the upper right corner that I get for every FME process that runs. And if it's successful, it says that there was success. If it fails, it says failure. And then you can see there's a link in there directly to the log file. So if something doesn't work, you can go right into the log, see what happened, figure out why it didn't work, and it helps you start the troubleshooting to either restart a server, make sure a data set's available. It just became, it's such a helpful tool. It makes our life a lot easier to manage and to troubleshoot and to keep the data, make sure that we know the data is up to date for everybody in the company. So we are currently, the processes that we use, we're pulling data from multiple sources like Geographics and SharePoint, Oracle, Intersight, Quorum, and putting it all together. And the majority of it is going into our ArcGIS Enterprise. And then we make it available in Portal for everybody. And this has made life so much simpler for all of our employees. They get to see, they can go into Portal and easily see, EHS can see where construction is working, so they can plan where they're going to have to get out to do their inspections that they have to do. The FME, the use of FME has greatly reduced my time in just meeting with employees and helping them figure out how to get the data where it needs to go. And it just helps everybody make better decisions, and we can react quicker when we have emergencies, or if you have, a pad that you're planning, all of a sudden you can't go there because you can't get a lease. Well, then we can easily run an FME process and eliminate that pad, and everything goes downstream throughout the whole company with the changes. So it makes it much simpler for everybody in the company to be always up to date and always have the most up-to-date data for them. So that's all I have. I tried to go through quickly here to get everybody to lunch. If anybody has any questions,